Appears that Meghan Markle was indeed sending secret messages over to the VP, the Vice President, of course, of the United States, Kamala Harris. But did it work? And more importantly, she's not giving in just now. As ever, let me explain. Morning, good to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. And by the way, glad you enjoyed my story about Cary Grant and the comedians. Great fun. I mean, great fun. You know, Mike and Bernie Winters, very popular over here in the United Kingdom. By the way, I don't know if you know, and if you live in that area, but Mike Winters ended up living over in Florida, loved it over there. Apparently he loved all the golf and everything like that, you know, but he said it literally added years to his life because of the beautiful warm climate. So let me know if you ever met Mike and you lived in Florida at that particular period. I think he was living there right up and sadly until his passing, but most of his family was still over here in the United Kingdom. Now let's get back, of course, to your breaking roll story of the day. Interesting this, because Meghan Markle does nothing without some pre-thought, as we've all seen, you know, the bombshells that she likes to tell in during these particular stories, you know. It doesn't, I mean, the washing up story, oh God, you know, how many more times? Troubling, you know. But the other thing is, when she was out, of course, in Colombia, things were not going to plan. There were lots and lots of problems behind the scenes. A lot of people suggesting, of course, of the movement of the staff member that decided to quit, couldn't stand it, axed, moved, whatever you want to call it, you know. They just couldn't take any more. And who can blame them, you know? And then, of course, we told you recently about Meghan obviously having, shall we say, a personal embarrassment because she's racked with nerves, whichever way you look at it. There's obviously a weighty problem behind all of that as well. I'm sure you'll understand. Now, here's where it gets very interesting, because over in England recently, we've had a general election, right? And part of the thing, it doesn't matter which party you're at. For instance, the Lib Dems had try something different, which saw the leader jumping on paddle boards and, you know, abseiling and all sorts of stuff, basically saying, do something different this time. Over also here, the Labour Party had a mantra called change, and everybody fell for that, you know, and change was, well, we'll now cut your winter fuel allowance, and we'll make sure, of course, that if you say anything slightly negative on Facebook or social media, we'll slap you in prison. Meanwhile, we'll just release thousands of prisoners onto the streets that are axe murderers virtually. You get the picture. Now, moving forward, over in America, Kamala Harris, of course, has this message, their mantra, which is going across the country right now, all about joy. We're bringing joy to you, you know, it's going to be wonderful. Vote for us, joy is round the corner. Something that initially started out, dare I say, by the Führer way back in the 1930s. Yes, possibly not a great association. But here's where it gets even more interesting, because Meghan Markle, sitting down to do one of her another lengthy speeches, basically decided to insert that a few times. Chapter of joy. This is my moment of joy. You remember that speech now? And everybody thought, oh, you know, strange thing, chapter of joy. What does it mean? That was a direct message back to Kamala Harris, the VPs, all of that sort of stuff, to basically say, I'm supporting you, I'm here. Now, I can tell you this has gone one stage further, because the team have already sent off that particular speech to the office. Meghan is desperate to get herself aligned with Miss Harris in any shape or form. And as we all know what's going on behind the scenes with the visa of Prince Harry, you know, seemingly a very special case when you dig a little bit deeper. Now, what's interesting here is, will this work? According to that source, people don't necessarily want to be associated with Meghan Markle. She's seen as quite toxic in the media. But if she's suddenly coming out to support them, every vote counts, as they say. And this is possibly, at the moment, the nearest that she could go without getting into trouble. So don't fall for the line that Meghan's full of joy. She's full of joy about trying to connect with somebody who she may believe could be the most powerful woman in the world come the end of November. You see how this works now? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.